So I guess we kind of already cheated a little bit, and we're going to cheat some more here. Guys, it's time for Let 'Em Play or DFA. It's been a while.
Let 'em play.
You know, this is real happy music for kind of a dickish segment. But let 'em play or DFA. It's a very simple or idea concept for a segment here. Usually we take one dude and we kind of figure out it's guy who's probably at the bottom of the roster and somebody that's not performing very well, and we decide whether or not we're going to let him work through it or get rid of his ass. In this case, again, we're cheating a bit. We're going with the entire bench. We're going to break it down a little bit first, and then we'll just talk around this together as a family. Austin Barnes is not that great at the plate, but he's Austin Barnes. He's not going anywhere. Sorry, Hunter Fiducia truthers. It's just not going to happen unless he gets hurt. Michael Busch, we already talked about him as the hero on Sunday, but hadn't gotten in at bat in a week. It is going to be the guy who gets optioned when JD is back. So he's one of the, I'd say, he has one of the guys with the better potential off the bench, but they don't look at him as really an option. So that one's sort of in flux. He's not going to be there. Hayward's been good, but he's kind of more of a starter now against right-handed pitching, and so you're going to see most of the time. But we got to talk about there's three guys. It's Miguel Rojas, who's been. Well, I wrote it initially when him and I were talking about what we're talking about today. I said Miggy Rose, Dookie. He's also battled through some problems, but he's not good right now. Trace, again, we all know. And David Peralta has been more missed than hit. How much longer, in your opinion, sir, does this unit have?
I think they're going to give guys like Miguel Rojas, who's dealt with injuries early on, they're going to give him more time to try to figure things out. And they know they're not delusional when it comes to what he can do at the plate. They're not expecting. That was the fan base that expected maybe he can hit 265 like he did in 2021. Maybe he can get off to that start that he had in 2020.
You know, I really want you to clown on Noah when he gets back from his vacation.
For some reason, that one slipped my mind. I didn't realize that he was that high.
Yeah. Well, he was like, he's going to hit better than 100 WRC plus, which that would have been a Hall of Fame year for Miggy Rowe in a way.
Yeah,
so
he's
shout out Noah Cameras. Follow him at
and
him.
his baseball acumen will never be questioned from this man. But I think sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, and it's always great to be optimistic. But yeah, if you look at Miguel Rojas, his expected batting average sits at 197. That's not going to get it done. But the issue isn't what he's not doing at the plate. The issue is he's playing a role that he wasn't expected to play. If he's putting up some numbers that were similar to Hanser Alberto's with better defense and positional versatility, you can feel okay about that. And also, too, you gave him that extension, okay? He's going to be on this team. You traded Jacob Amaya for Miggy Rowe. He's also popular in the clubhouse. He also got pretty big base hit in the Phillies series, too. So it's not like he's incapable of going out there and putting his bat on the ball and making good things happen. Also, too, you have to talk about defense. And I know some people don't love defensive metrics, and they're not easy to point to when it comes to batting average and offensive productivity, but still, he is above average with the glove in the 71st percentile and outs above average. He isn't as good as he's been in years past, but with guys getting injured, with guys potentially going down, he still provides value as one of the rare guys. I mean, you're talking about almost 800 players in this league. Not a lot of them can play shortstop at an above average level. And so when you have that in your bag, you can absolutely provide value. So I think they're still going to give him time. I think Trayce Thompson is the one that I'm looking at that's going to be the first to walk the plank, though.
Quickly on Miggy Rowe, he's also in like some sort of weird he's in a weird space because he was a starting shortstop. He went down with an injury. He came back. He's kind of not the starting shortstop, but he's also not the top utility guy. He's just sort of floating right now, and I think the inconsistent playing time and the lack of a true role is not it's not conducive to him producing at the moment. He will figure out something. He's not going to be a great hitter, but if he can be productive in some way, I would like to see him shorten up the swing. I don't need you to hit 220 with a whopping 6 homers. I'd rather you hit 270 with 2 homers and everybody's happier. Get on base, do something useful. Trace, borrowed time and a half. This guy, great story. Thanks for all the help. You don't fit the team. You're not doing what it needs. And this is a team that he is paid. He is on the roster to hit left-handed pitching. The Dodgers are the worst team in baseball, I think, still against left-handed pitching. It's not working. You got to, I mean, they don't have a natural fix or solution elsewhere, because even if you do DFA Trace, then it's Bush, and Bush is, again, like we were talking about earlier, is a left-handed batter, so that doesn't quite help the situation. Even he's probably a more, competent at bat against lefties than Trace Thompson is at the moment. But if you don't have a natural solution, you're kind of stuck with him. He is still productive enough against right-handed pitching, but he's not getting those opportunities. But if you're looking to make an immediate change to hopefully boost this roster and boost the bench, which has been atrocious so far this season offensively, Trace is the first guy you got to try on.
Yeah, he's definitely the guy that you look at and you say, hey, you were supposed to be a specialist and you just can't do what we were hoping you could do. And that's what surprises me so much, is because every single metric, whether it be basic ones or advanced ones, pointed to some serious regression to the mean. Everyone in the baseball world really knew that he was going to fall off. His BABIP was the highest in the league. He was punishing mistakes. But the issue I have is he just can't catch up to big league pitching. I mean, his swing is not conducive to success at this level. And it's not a nice thing to see, because you're starting to see frustration set in. Defensively, he's not terrible. He's had some plays that I think kind of look glaring, but still overall he's been solid defensively. But yeah, Dodgers dead last in all of Major League Baseball against southpaws, hitting 191. If you can't get it done, they have to find some other options. And I think Trace Thompson's going to be that guy that's going to definitely get DFA'd at some point, unless he turns it around. But there's nothing that I've seen so far this season that leads me to believe that that's going to happen, or that he's going to hit with any consistency. Sometimes you have to make difficult decisions, and unfortunately, Trace Thompson getting the heave-ho is probably going to be one of the first ones this year.
Within a week? What do you think?
I mean, one thing, just kind of being that Dodgers clubhouse, there's just so much camaraderie. It's such a veteran-laden group that it's going to be a blow to this clubhouse whenever that decision is made. And I think, too, Clint, I mean, there's not really any obvious options. I mean, Johnny DeLuca, Double-A. Andy Pages, Double-A. They're on the 40-man roster, but yeah, maybe they get called up to Triple-A and they can show some progress. But right now, there's really no one you can turn to, and that's why I said, what did I say before the season started? I said trade Trace Thompson while his value is what it is. Yeah. I'm not trying to take a victory lap on that, but hey, I identified, and also too, I just think they needed some more infield optionality, some versatility. So yeah,
you can kind of replace him with Chris Taylor on the roster in a way, move him back into the outfield, which was the initial plan anyways. And then Mookie is sort of the backup shortstop if you want to go that route.
I think that's a great point, because Chris Taylor has turned things around slowly but surely. You're seeing hard contact. You're seeing his swing really starting to sync up, and he's has such a better rhythm at the plate. He's cutting down on the strikeouts. But also, too, I think the domino effect of that, the ripple effect of that is, I think if you gave Miguel Rojas that role where you're saying you are going to go back to getting 80% of the reps at shortstop, I think that helps his confidence. I think that gives him a position and a defined role on this team. And like you said, I mean, I don't know why Rojas swings such a heavy bat and has such a big swing when he doesn't need to, but let's not forget, we're just a few years removed from having the pitcher bat, okay? You don't need your shortstop to hit 300 and be an offensive weapon. I mean, you can't get by.
He would not be as big of a glaring issue if everybody else on the bench was not doing or wasn't struggling the way they are, or so much more of the bench struggling the way they are. But you can't have those two dudes. Plus, I mean, David Peralta is essentially a starter, but I don't know if it's a bad luck thing for him. I know you're the guy who brings your facts to the fight, so I don't know what the expected numbers are and all the BS analytics that Blake Snell doesn't understand. I don't know what the expectation is based on his batted ball profile, but what I'm seeing is a dude with a very long swing that can't get around on a fastball right now.
And that's exactly what it is. And all of his expected numbers, they don't point to anything that says, hey, things are going to turn around. And I know within the organization, they do consider those factors. And he just looks overmatched on so many at-bats. And when he's not swinging at missing at fastballs down the middle, fastballs up in the zone, they're really trying to crowd him and go in on the hands against him. And he's just out in front of breaking balls. So I think there's a mental component in play. And I think just in general, just that swing, it does not play up. And I think last year, he just snuck up on a lot of pitchers, where now there is an attack plan against Trayce Thompson. We've seen it again and again and again in this league. When hitters come up out of nowhere and they have success, it usually takes the next year when pitchers and scouts really start to game plan for you. It's almost like when a one-hit wonder has a big hit and they're chasing that next big single, but they can't get it. And Trayce can't get a single right now.
Yeah. Ron Jerica, as we bring the comments back in here, guys, says Trayce hasn't done nothing. Great way of saying it. Since his 3-homer game, but struck out every time. I don't know about every time, but he's not putting
almost
together
50% of the time.
He's not putting together quality at bats. And you know, Dave Roberts during the last homestand, when you asked Dave about him, about Trayce Thompson, and then media stole your angle, and I'm not gonna say stole. They helped expand on the Trayce Thompson angle, and you know, Dave was saying like, yeah, I think there is. This is absolutely mentally weighing on him, and you're not seeing. You know, Trayce Thompson knows I am supposed to be good against left-handed pitching. I mean, you talked to him during spring training, you got that vibe from him. It's like man, like a left-handed pitcher don't want me, man. You know, it's like he's not.
No, I know.
He is very much trying. It's not for a lack of effort. But at some point you get so much in your own head.
Yeah.
It's like at some point you just want somebody to say good job or get some sort of acknowledgement.
That definitely struck me during that interview when I asked him about it.
Appreciate you for trying.
And he was kind of tuning me out, giving your kind of cliche answers, and I appreciate that. All that sounds great. But when I brought up left-handed pitching, he's just looked at me like, I can hit lefties. I know I can hit lefties. And you could just see something turn on and a little self-doubt creeped in. So, hey, hopefully this isn't it for Trayce Thompson. Hopefully more of a change of scenery, a different role. But, hey, it's not over yet. I would be ecstatic to see him go on a run. But like I said, I kind of trust my eyes on what I've seen so far. And also, too, I got to give you some credit because you were trying to take some heat after that 3-home run game. And what'd you say? You said, hold on. Wait a second. Be patient. He's not the second coming of Mark McGwire at this point. Okay, so yeah, and look, no one wants to see these players fail. No one does.
Absolutely
no one does.
Not. Great. That's 100% agree with you, as Doug McCain would say. Everything you're saying there. BC says last versus lefties out of 30 teams, embarrassing. And this, I mean, it's been a long running problem for this organization. They struggle against left-handed pitching. They can't quite put the pieces together to hit well against them, but they try. They've definitely tried. When you get Mookie struggling versus lefties too, you don't expect that. One of the better hitting players versus lefties on the team is Freddie Freeman, left-handed batter. But other than that, you know, CT hasn't really done it, and I think left-handed pitching has attacked the Dodgers in a way where everything is. You know, it's coming from the left side, and it's pounding in on right-handed hitters, and the swings are so long, especially in the launch angle era, if we're going to still call it that, which I don't think people call it that anymore, but the swings are so long, you're swinging over it, or you're tapping out, or you're popping up because you're, you know, getting jam shots in there. But anyways.